Welcome to the Ages of Rock podcast with your hosts Bill Algie, Dennis Talbot, and Alan Tate. We are three guys who have one thing in common, a love of rock and roll. Our goal is to talk about all things rock. We hope you find this show intriguing, funny, and occasionally highly opinionated. Enjoy! Hey folks, this is episode number 152. This week we're going to have E.T. Brown on in a few minutes, but before that we're going to do our normal talk bullshit. And I'll start it out by today
Talking
is
fast too.
today is not February, today is January the 17th. And it was announced today Paul Stanley was on volume 106 with Nick Carter. And he announced that Kiss is going to be doing a show at the Whiskey A Go-Go on February 11th. And from what I understand, it is by invitation only. In celebration of that, I guess, SiriusXM is going to have Kiss radio channel from February 4th through February 17th on SiriusXM channel 30. And from what I understand, they're supposed to rebroadcast that concert on that channel, and I'm sure they'll rebroadcast it a whole bunch of times like they did the Guns N' Roses show.
And you say it's channel what? Is it 30?
Sirius XM channel 30, February 4th through February 17th.
When I get in my car, or my wife's car, I can actually pull that up. So that's cool.
Sweet.
So that's kind of interesting. So they're gonna. So does this? When is their the end of the road tour start?
One of these days.
I know that.
Honestly, I don't know when the tour starts.
Is it before this, or are they going to be on the tour and then do this show?
I don't know when the tour starts. I know.
Bill?
Yeah, the tour starts the 31st of January.
January 31st?
In Quebec.
There you go.
So this show is going to be when, you said?
It's February 11th, the night before they play the Honda Arena in Anaheim or wherever, LA-ish area.
So they're actually going to take a little break from their couple of shows, and then they're going to do this little show.
No, it's not really a break. I mean, they have like shows.
No, I'm saying
every day
during the. I know, but then they're going to be.
Now, one thing Paul did say during his interview, and we have to take everything that Paul says with a grain of salt, but he said at the Whiskey Show they were going to be doing songs from all eras of Kiss. So
yeah, right. Yeah.
Which 16 songs are considered all eras?
It's going to be the same. I've been seeing all this stuff all week long. There's been these pictures. Keith LaRue has been posting these pictures from the not tryouts. It's kind of a dumb word, but the practices or rehearsals for the end of the road tour.
You said all tryouts, didn't you?
I did say tryouts. But you know what? Kiss 2.0 is coming up at some point. So
listen, guys, I'm trying out for my own band.
But anyway, they showed all the Paul's, his bedazzled guitars now. They got all these bedazzled guitars. But anyway, they're showing these guys, and of course he's wearing his Pumas. His.
Yeah, he has the other ones, so it's kind of pissed me off.
Do you think he got him made himself a set of platform Pumas?
Not yet.
Totally. They should do that. That would be cool.
And Bill would buy a pair.
No. But that'd be cool.
I would. Then I could be as tall as you bastards.
But anyway, no, I did see that. But they keep talking about all the, they're running through the set list, and I'm like going, you're rehearsing the same 16 songs that you've been playing forever. It's like going, I know you're not going to play anything different. Don't fool us. Don't try to fool us.
Well, they got to make sure they get themselves like on the right part of the stage so they don't blow themselves up with pyro or something.
Correct.
Talking about fooling ourselves, along with there's a thing going on in Nashville coming up that Bill's going to talk about, but somebody else is going to be trying to fool some people in Nashville that weekend also, or that weekend actually. You guys look confused. You were going to talk about, what were you going to talk about, Bill? I was going to say
this segue. You suck at segues.
World's worst segue.
I got to let you know what's going on. Okay. I tried.
You did not try. That was horrible.
If people don't believe that we don't write this shit up, and I mean, this is all on the fly. I mean, this is proof. This is proof.
I think what he's trying to say is on February 8th, 9th, Vinnie Vincent is supposed to be somewhere in Nashville at some parts. Maybe he's a wrestler. He's like from the parts unknown.
It's called Rockville or Rock something. I don't know what it's called. It's some kind of shit.
It's called The Show's Going to Be Canceled.
Well, they put out a video today, and what was funny was, they were talking about. No, it was pictures of Vinny, and Vinny's actually talking on it, going, I want to see all you people down here, and he's going to destroy. It's not. He's just going to he's not going to shred anymore. He's going to destroy. The whole thing is, they're playing music with Mark Slaughter singing in the background. And it's like, but he's banned from their website. So how can they play this? They were all joking today on Facebook about like what kind of shit gob thing is this put together? I mean, it's the most retarded thing you've ever seen in your life. I mean, sorry.
The best part about that whole deal though is you have an alternative. So on Saturday night, you have an alternative. So
instead of Vinny, go see some good music.
Yeah, you
Bill,
can take.
Where's that?
Shut the hell up. When you figure out that Vinny's been canceled or he didn't show up or whatever the hell is going to happen to him, then so you can head over on Saturday night on February 9th to the Mercy Lounge to see Rock for Asbrock. So our guest tonight, E.T. Brown's going to talk a little bit about this later, but there is a show. Jeremy Asbrock is part of the Gene Simmons band. Actually, he's part of the Rock and Roll Residency, Gene Simmons band, now Ace Frehley band. Had some health issues before his insurance kicked in at the first of the year. Ended up in the ICU for a few days and asked
diabetic
in healthcare, big dollars. So they're having an all proceeds benefit. So
and $10,
$10,
$10 cheaper than Vinny.
They're gonna have some raffle prizes for $5, $10, and $20. But the Rock and Roll Residents will be playing the Big Rock Show, the Shazam, Hannah Fairlight Group. That's what it says.
That's actually his wife and Philip's wife.
Oh, really?
Girlfriend. They have a band called That's how you say it.
Well, let's see. Alan, when Jeremy's wife was dancing around in front of us, I remember going,
And but I tell you what, though, she sang Def Leppard. She tore it up. Remember, she did break it.
Yeah, it was good.
So,
yep.
Anyway,
Dark Hound, which is E.T. Brown's band. East Side Gamblers. Defense wins championships.
Philip Schaus's other band.
Okay, and that's true. I stressed that to kids when I was a coach. Them Vibes and Raylan Nelson band. So I'm sure that it'll probably be like everything else. There will be other people that appear and show up. Vinny will not show up.
Oh, I hope he does. Wouldn't it be great?
The other event in Nashville. I'm just going to go out on a limb.
There's going to be more shredding at the Mercy Lounge than anywhere Vinny's at that night.
That's a fact, Jack.
I guarantee it.
Anyway, E.T.'s going to talk a little bit more about that later in the show, so that'll be fun. But I'm looking actually, I think we might make a little family trip, head down there for a weekend and check it out. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, are you going to try to do that B&B thing?
I don't know. It depends on who goes. If the boys go and Lisa goes, it depends on if I can get one. I won't be able to stay in the same one.
You can rent a whole house. A lot of times you can rent.
We're only going to go for a night. We're not going to be there for like 3 days. So
no, but I'm saying you can still rent a house for a day. And if Kelly and I end up going, we could all chip in and go together. You know what I'm saying?
That's like a great idea.
I'm just saying.
I know.
For those of you who are only listening, Bill was shaking his head no.
You don't like my wife? I'm going to tell Kelly that.
It's not. No, my wife doesn't like you.
She's going to hate me in this summer when I come up here and stay during the Kiss concert. But that's okay.
There you go.
We sleep in the garage.
That's all I got.
I know Lisa doesn't like me, or she likes me. I mean, she does not like me. How's that?
She does.
she does not like me or does like me.
Well, we can discuss this later on. You got anything, Dennis?
No. Actually, I'm.
Don't say you're speechless because that ship sank.
No, I'm saying we were just. I think we got everything out as far as we were wanting to talk about.
All right then, boys and girls. Here's ET.
Ready?
Go.
Hey guys, we are here with ET Brown. Man, what's going on?
Oh man, doing nothing but talking to you guys. How's it going?
It's going all right. I see you you decorated appropriately.
That's just overflow number one, actually. So
I understand.
Yeah, I've got a few stations of kiss shit, much to my wife's pleasure, you know.
Yeah, like my wife, when I redid this room, I said you can have the entire house. This is just my space. So
yeah, there you go. Ooh, that's nice.
No frilly stuff or any of that stuff. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. So what have you been up to? We saw you a couple weeks ago at the residency show, the last residency show.
Yeah.
Having a lot of fun. That was a blast, man. Did you have a good time?
Oh, that was a great night. Total blast. There's so many people there, and so many great performances. I think that when everybody knew it was a special night, so everybody brought their A+ game, you know, and it was great. Everybody just tore it up, and I had fun. I know that much.
Yeah, it was cool. It was very cool. Do you go to that? Do you play there pretty regularly? Were you?
Yeah. I mean, I've obviously known those guys for, you know, since when they started it 4.5 years ago. I went to all of them that I could, and have been a regular guest with them since the beginning. So, it's always been sort of like a rock and roll church for the Nashville gang. You know, that's kind of what is a really special thing, because it really was the glue that bound a lot of us together and brought a lot of people. And over the course of since they started that, Nashville's really become sort of like a rock and roll mecca that, you know, we're getting all sorts of people that were big on like the Sunset Strip and stuff in the 80s that live here now. And that just became the place where everybody hung. So it was it was a really special thing for sure.
That's cool, man. It was fun. That was the first time I'd been. Dennis, had you been before? You guys went to the Christmas show, right?
Yes, we went down to the X&M last year and saw you guys play at the Blonder Than Hell thing.
Oh yeah,
we were looking so much forward to that this year, and then it got
me too, man. Me too.
And but yeah, that was it. I'd never been to Mercy Lounge, so that was really cool. Like I said, I'm just now finding all these good rock and roll places, because we've used to do the typical go down to the main street and hit all the country places, but there's some really cool places once you get off Broadway.
For sure.
Exactly. So we're finding them now. That's cool.
Well, you could be our tour guide sometime.
Absolutely. Yeah. Let me know when you're coming in. I'll tell you what all the good stuff is. Because it's I also have like one of my side things that I do is this thing called Nashville March, that stands for Metal and Rock Community Hub, and so we have an event calendar and regularly posting and promoting shows that are all happening on the metal and rock side of the heavier side of Nashville. So I'm pretty dialed into, if you like rock and roll, then let me be your Sherpa.
Cool, man. What was it called again?
The Nashville March.
Nashville March. I'm writing that down, man.
Sweet.
Exactly.
Before we get off of the topic of Nashville, there's an event going on. I believe it's at the Mercy Lounge again in February.
Yeah, February 9th.
Would you discuss that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So Jeremy Asbrock, who is one of the guys who is in Blonder Than Hell with me and one of the co-creators and runners of the Rock and Roll Residency, and is also in Gene and Ace's solo bands, he had a little bit of a diabetic attack over the holidays and spent a few days in critical care, and is all better now, thankfully. But we're throwing together a little Rock for Asbrock benefit show for him to help raise some funds for him and his family to help cover some of those hospital bills. And it's going to be another great night of the rock and roll community in Nashville coming together. Got a lot of great bands, a lot of great players coming together, and we're just going to get up and bang out some tunes. My thrash metal band Dark Hound is going to be playing there. We're going to be doing a couple songs, and it's bound to be, if you liked the Rock and Roll Residency, it's going to be very much the same vibe, very much the same people. And, it's just what we do when one of our own needs some help. We'll come together with rock and roll in the best way we know how.
That's cool.
Is there a Facebook page or a web address that you can send people to?
Yeah, if you go to the Rock and Roll Residencies Facebook pages and Instagrams and stuff, that's kind of like the main info news line for this show. So they'll be promoting it, and then you'll see they just put out a killer poster that they put out.
That. It's really cool.
That lists of most of the performers that are going to be on there. So we'll all be plugging it coming up to February 9th.
Yeah, we put it on our Facebook page, and we posted. I tweeted it out earlier today too. So we're trying to help out a little bit if we can. It's interesting. My son, who will turn 18 on the 19th of January, saw the poster, and then he sent the poster to me, and like he'll be 18, so he's ready to go.
Yeah, awesome.
He wants to go since it's an 18 and over show. At least that's what it says online. So I think we might try to head down there and go, because it's a Saturday, which will be cool. That'll be better than going to the. At least the Rock and Roll Residency was on a Tuesday night. That was a little bit rough. I took the next day off, so I was better. I worked half day on one day and drove down, and then took the next day off. But it'll be fun. So yeah, it'll be good. It'll be a good time. Be good to get him in that kind of environment. He'll love it. He loves live music, so it'll be cool.
Oh, right on. Well then, yeah, it's gonna be a good one.
Yep. So last time we saw you before that though was in Indy, right at the Expo, when you and Christopher Williams you took over our show and turned it into like a machine conversation and
talking about liquid ass and something else.
I'm glad that is on video for the world to remember.
The Requiem of a Dream or For a Dream, whatever that was. I watched that movie after Chris brought that up.
Oh,
I'm sorry. The weirdest fucking movie I've ever watched in my life.
It can cause some emotional scars for sure.
That's an absolute. It's just bad.
So was that before the Rock and Pod Expos? I saw you guys there, right?
Yeah, that was before.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did that too. I forgot.
Yeah, that was fun too.
Yeah. So hopefully they're doing that again this year. They're working on it. I know that Chris Sinzak is working on it, and a couple other guys are starting to pull that thing together. So that'd be cool.
Yeah,
I think it's in August is what they're planning on.
Yeah, no, that's good. I've gone the last 2 years, and I love what Chris does, and their podcast is one of the things that got me into listening to rock and roll podcasts. So it's having it's just a room full of rock and roll nerds, and like, what's better than that,
Yeah, it's amazing. We all kind of get along. It's you'd think it would be some kind of cutthroat kind of thing, and it's not. It's like it's just everybody. We're all buddies, and seem to be. Most of us are buddies anyway, and seems to be pretty cool. There's a couple people that it's kind of like, what the hell, dude? But there's always those in a crowd, right?
Yeah, what's life without a little bit of drama?
That's exactly right. Hopefully this year they can get a band to play and they won't get shut down like happened last year. So that kind of stunk up the joint. That's for sure.
Yeah,
so what have you been up to? So you have a new band?
Everybody had to miss out on my Symphony of Destruction performance.
Oh,
yeah. Destroyed it so much that they made us leave.
All right, go ahead, Bill.
Talk about your band. That's all right. So talk about your band. So you got a progressive metal band? Is that what you said? Or
well, it's kind of more on the like thrash kind of. I don't know. It was a review that we got recently put it pretty well, that it was like the best of late 80s, early 90s hard rock with thrash and progressive influences. So I guess like late 80s, early 90s Megadeth is like probably the closest thing I can point to about what we sound like. Our name is Dark Hound. We've been gigging around Nashville and the surrounding areas since 2014 when we put out our first record. And we've put out an EP and a second record since then. Our last record came out almost a year ago. And it's me and three other guys. I play bass and sing in front of the band. It's just like some college buddies that, all love heavy metal and rock and roll. And, we like to get together and make music and get up on stage and make a lot of noise and when we can. And it's a lot of fun.
Cool. And you're going to be playing, you said you'll be playing at the Asbrock
Yeah, we'll be playing for the Rock for Asbrock show as Dark Hound. So yeah, that'll be fun.
So are you drumming there? Are you bass playing there? Are you singing there?
Playing bass and singing. So I'm the bass player front man. So
cool.
Yeah,
cool. That's cool. So you drum too, though, right?
Bill was really listening when you said that the first time.
I didn't. I'm so sorry. I knew they were playing there. I didn't hear him say that he was going to be the bass player and singing, so I didn't get that. I missed it. My bad.
I played drums a while ago. I don't play any drums in any current projects, but that was like one of my starts of playing instruments, was playing drums. When I was growing up, my mother was very adamant that I always was learning at least one instrument and playing at least one sport. And which the sports thing, by the time I got to high school and like heard Ride the Lightning for the first time, I was like, never mind, this sport thing, this music thing is for me. But I grew up like playing piano a little bit, but I was terrible, and was like, when I was growing up, when I was a kid, my dad was playing me stuff like Yes and Leonard Skinner, and I was like, yeah, keyboards are cool. And then when I went to piano lessons and they were wanting me to play a song called like The Dog Jumped Through the Hoop, and I was so bored and I just couldn't sit down and learn it. And when my mom said, well, you got to play something, and I was like, I want to play the drums. I was probably like 11 years old, and they found a family friend who had a crappy drum kit that he let me go over and beat on it until they realized it wasn't just a phase. And so that's kind of how I got started playing rock and roll, was getting a little drum kit and putting on records and playing along until it sounded not like shit. So and I really didn't start playing bass until I came to college. I moved up. I grew up in Birmingham, Alabama, and couldn't ever get a heavy metal band together when I was in high school. And when I came to college, about second week I was there, I met some dudes who, they were two guitar players and a drummer, and they said, hey, do you play bass? And I said, well, I have a bass, because I had bought a shitty little $99 Yamaha for a project in high school I was working on. And they were like, all right, sweet, learn these two Children of Bodom songs and we'll pick you up at 4 p.m. And I was like, okay. And from there, I just absolutely fell in love with the instrument. It was like the perfect blend of drums and guitar for me that really made sense. So stuck with it, and that's been my main instrument ever since.
Cool.
So sounds kind of familiar. I didn't start playing bass until I was like 30.
Yeah, no, it's fun. I love the instrument. It's so much fun to play. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. I played the upright string bass in orchestra in the 7th and 8th grade. So that's not a lie either. That's the truth. I had to haul that damn thing back and forth from school.
That's a lot. That's definitely on my wish list at some point, is to have an upright bass and learn how to slap that thing, because I think those are pretty cool.
I don't know how much slapping there was going on, but
there was, but it wasn't with the bass, probably.
Yeah, whatever. So let's talk about Kiss, man. You got a lot of Kiss stuff back there. So when did that start? Probably good parenting, right? That was good parenting.
Actually, my parents weren't really into Kiss. I kind of found them a little bit later. I mean, when I was growing up, my dad's favorite band is Yes, as I mentioned, and like the four bands that I feel like were like the pillar that my taste was built on is Yes and Zeppelin and Floyd and the Beatles. Like those were the main four that I remember my dad playing for me over and over. And that I was just like, was part of my DNA by the time I was 4 or 5 years old. And from there, absorbed all of the other classic rock stuff. We used to have a game where I would try to, we'd turn on classic rock radio and I would try to tell them the name of the song and the artist and what year it came out as fast as possible within the first few riffs. And, and so by the time I got to middle school, I think it was the Grammys or one of those award shows that I was watching when they came out and announced the reunion tour, when they all came out in the outfits, and all the people that I was absorbing at the time, people like Sebastian Bach and Scott Ian, who were in the audience, and they were showing, and they just were flipping out. And first of all, I was like, who the hell are these guys? And what is this? And why are all the people that I'm currently absorbing and worshiping their music, they are flipping out? I need to see what this is. And I had known the stuff that was on classic rock radio, Rock and Roll All Night, and those sorts of things, and Shout It Out Loud. But I had never really delved into what Kiss was until I saw them on that TV show. And then from there, I went and got a greatest hits collection and was just like, yeah, I want to know more, and started to delve back and forth. And that's where the rabbit hole started. And I just tumbled pretty hard down that little thing.
So did you buy the Elder, or did you just pass on that one?
Not at that time. I recently got the Elder on vinyl. I found it an original copy on. I got Phonolux that's around the corner from my house here in Nashville. It's this great record store. It's only open on like Saturdays and Sundays because they don't give a fuck, and they always have. They know what they're doing, and everything is like high quality. And so I love going by there. And I found that one, and I was like, yep, this is going home with me. So, and I've grown to really. I like quirky stuff like that. I just finished actually reading Julian Gill's book about it, and found it fascinating. All that's what a weird chapter and a weird band. Gotta love how that stuff kind of fits into the context of it.
Cool. Maybe that's what I should do. I should buy Julian's book, and that way when I listen to the record, I have some appreciation for it.
No, it does.
Because every time I listen to it and turn it on, I kind of throw up.
Yeah. There are some parts that you kind of have to like get through, like a lot of like the like fanfare, and I just find it interesting how like the concept of it was meant to be this big grandiose thing, but by the time it got to the record company and they were like, what the hell is this? We need to chop this up and put what we think could be the 2 singles at the beginning of each side. And scrapped all of the voice acting that was supposed to tie the story and the songs together. So it came out as this jumbled mess, which who knows? I'd love to hear it at some point in the correct order with all that voice stuff back in there and see if it makes any more sense. But I doubt we'll ever hear that.
Do you have the Japanese version of that album?
No, I haven't.
I'm thinking maybe the Japanese version has all of that stuff in it. Because I know the track order is correct on the Japanese version. I've listened to the Japanese version a couple of times, but it's been so long ago, I don't remember if that voice stuff is in there or not. I have it on my computer at work. I have to try to remember to check that out tomorrow.
Yeah, check it out. Let me know, because that'd be see. And they were talking about making it into a movie, which of course would have been a terrible idea. So I mean, the underlying story is.
Could it be any worse than Phantom of the Park?
That's a good call. At least Phantom has that like camp factor where you can kind of one of my favorite Kiss movies is the Scooby-Doo movie they did a few years ago.
That movie was great.
It's awesome.
The best part of that whole movie for me was Doc McGee selling all of this Kiss merchandise.
It's so great. All of it. I loved it. I love that thing.
That's when you learn that you don't have to take yourself so seriously.
Exactly. Yeah. And
it comes off very much like that and pretty good. Compared to before when you were trying to take yourself a little too seriously.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which
circumstances dictated that it could never be taken that seriously. So yeah, I love it.
A bunch of 4 guys in makeup dancing around in 7-inch heels. You can't take that terribly seriously. Really, it's just you just can't. So your collectible stuff, you said that was before we got on, you were kind of talking about your room. That's like one of your many rooms. Do you have a favorite single item that's like the thing that is like, I have this and it's awesome?
I do have like the Kiss lamp is like that they came out with a few years ago. Actually, I have it up here. Let me see if I can pull it down. Yeah, this thing.
Oh, that's cool. I haven't seen. Where'd that come from?
Sensors.
So like, it's got all the dudes on it.
That's cool.
Like hand painted under it. And when it's on, it's got like the logo on the shade. Anyway, that's probably my favorite Kiss thing that I have.
I need that for my room.
Yeah, my wife got it for me for my birthday last year, and it's awesome. I also have the the big bust of Gene that they put out several years ago.
Yeah.
That one's relegated to the basement though, because my wife said she never wanted to look at it. Like that. When I found it in a consignment shop, I sent her a text and I was like, "Guess what's coming home with me?" And she was like, "You better not." I was like, "It's going in the basement. Don't worry."
Which was the ticket for I'm absolutely bringing it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Without question.
That's kind of like I didn't want it till you told me I couldn't have it.
It's always that way.
Yeah, no, I love going into. That's one of my favorite things to do when I'm traveling or poking around is going into like consignment stores or like thrift shops and stuff. Because like if you look in some of those weird corners, there's like pretty good chance that there's some random Kiss shit there, and I just love poking through that stuff and finding it. You know, when you see either the logo or one of the faces, you're just like, yes, it's like, you know, that treasure hunter thing. You found your treasure. So I've got, most of the stuff on these bookshelves are just like little knickknacks that I've just like found in weird places for like $3 or $4 that it's like, yeah, I'll take that home.
Yeah, I got a friend of mine bought me like the rubber ducks they had out. They were like Kiss ducks not long ago. You have one? Oh yeah, you have one back there. You have a Gene one back there. I got one of those. Yeah.
This one?
Yeah.
I literally got this in the mail yesterday.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I got one for Christmas from a friend of mine. Opened up, I'm like, where the hell did you get that at? I don't even remember seeing those.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a Christmas gift that I got from somebody that came late and came in yesterday.
There you go. Kiss, the gift that keeps on giving.
Oh man. That's what once my family figured out, like they used to be like, oh, you're so complicated. And I was like, no, if it has Kiss on it, I'll like it. So like Christmas are pretty easy. So
well, they put enough stuff out with Kiss's stuff on it. You know, it's just a little bit of everything. It's like, you know, and they just keep coming up with shit all the time. It's crazy.
I'm not mad at
people keep buying it. They're going to keep making it.
Well, of course, we're going to. So other than Kiss, what other bands? I mean, did you grow up, or what bands did you really got into? You were talking about earlier.
Yeah, I mean, after I kind of went through the classic rock stuff and felt like I had mined that pretty good. That was when I was probably about 12 when I heard Ride the Lightning for the first time, and that was a big bug that really bit me going down like the thrash metal route, and that's, you know, how I found Megadeth and Anthrax and Slayer and all those, and Megadeth to this day is still like Megadeth and Kiss are two of the bands that I'm like most obsessed with.
Right.
My favorite musical artist of all time is a guy named Devin Townsend. He's a Canadian musician that had an extreme metal band called Strapping Young Lad back in the day, and he sang on Vi's Sex and Religion record, and he has like 30 solo records varying from the craziest schizoid death metal to the most serene flute meditation music. He's just unreal. Everything he puts out is amazing to me. So those are probably my three that I'm most obsessed with. Lately, the band that I've been getting into the most is a Swedish metal band called Avatar. They kind of makes sense coming from my Kiss nerddom that they kind of have a very visual aspect to their show as well. They kind of have like a demented carnival vibe, and the whole thing is just so cohesive, and they're so intent. It's just really impressive to me, and their musicianship is out of this world. So, but yeah, I kind of going through thrash metal that I went down every rabbit hole of every kind of heavy metal and hard rock you can imagine. I mean, I had my phase of European power metal and Norwegian black metal and Florida death metal and everything in between. You know.
Exactly. Well, that's awesome.
Just a big old music nerd.
At first, I thought you said the Swedish metal band Avatar. I was like, what?
That needs to be something, though. They need to do a mashup. That's amazing. Yeah,
that would be Avatar.
Somebody will figure that. Somebody will do a mashup. But there you go.
Yeah.
That's what you can do. You can create a mashup and put it out there, and you'll be like 12 million hits or something.
Oh man, yeah,
that'll be insane. Incredible. All right, so we can find you. Where can we find you? Where can our folks find you?
On Instagram at etbrown4 is my personal handle there, and then at Dark_Hound is my band's. And then I mean, also if you come to Nashville and hang out in the rocker circles, I'm probably there.
The Nashville March, does it have its own? Do you have its own Facebook page itself, or web page?
At the Nashville March for both Instagram and Facebook.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
I need to friend that
cool.
one. So
I got to figure that out
too.
Yeah,
like I said, definitely we get down there next time. You'll be our Sherpa.
There you go. So they've announced the Indie Expo, the next Kiss Indie Expo. I don't know if you saw it or not. That got announced today.
Yeah.
So I don't know what we're doing about that yet. We haven't discussed it. It's a little far off.
Yeah, it is. But I mean, I had a blast this year. I mean,
I don't know how they're going to beat that.
They got to come up with.
That was so great.
I honestly expected they were going to take a year off because they put a lot of work into that. That's a lot to recover from.
They worked so hard, and man, they treated. I mean, I didn't know what to expect going up there. I mean, me and Christopher decided like last minute really to go when we found out that Phil and Jared and Ryan and them were going to be playing, and we were like, well, shit, I've got that day off, and let's go up and get a hotel room and crash with the dudes. And and then that turned into, when they asked me to play, which is always fun. Filling in for Gene Simmons with the Gene Simmons band is not a thing that is too shabby. And that, there were just so many like magical moments that throughout that whole weekend that, getting to go to Eric Singer's 60th birthday party was like one of the most surreal experiences I've had. Like sitting there with like Ace Frehley at the next table over and being in the buffet line with Bob Kulick, and he's like complaining about the vegetables, and I was just like, "This is so awesome."
The last
Alan can't believe
the last Kiss Expo I put on, Bob was the guest, and there was not a thing he did not complain about.
Yeah, that's kind of his vibe, from what I gathered.
Well, it was funny because I had talked to Bruce, because Bruce had been my guest before, and Bruce said, "If you think I'm needy, just wait till you meet my brother."
Bruce seems like the sweetest dude in the world. He seemed like the easiest guy to get along with for everybody.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, maybe not.
But yeah, no, all the team there, like Keith LaRue and all those dudes, like they're just wonderful, wonderful humans, and we're just so hospitable and accommodating to. I mean, and I was like, all of a sudden they were asking me to like sign the guitars that they're raffling and stuff, and I was like, "Are you sure? Like, I'm just here to rage." Like, I'd stumbled accidentally into like some dream world where I was like, "What? You want me to sign a Kiss guitar?" Okay, I'll do that.
It was funny. We talked to Ryan Cook a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking to him about being part of the family now. And he's like, "Well, I'm not really part of the family," and I'm like, "Trust me, from a fan perspective, you're part of the family."
Yeah, it's a trip, man. It's wild. I mean, because we started our Blonder Than Hell thing like 2011, I want to say, and to see what that turned, and that just literally started as a conversation with me and Phil met at a show at Mercy Lounge, and went to go get beers at a bar called 12 South Tap Room the next weekend. And in that conversation, that was when I was like, man, I've always wanted to do a Kiss thing, but I've never been in a band with 3 other people who thought Kiss was any good. So he was like, dude, I know the perfect Peter and I know the perfect Ace, like from right there. And then we like booked a rehearsal and we were like, yeah, this is fun. We should like put on the makeup and do a show. And that turned into them playing with Gene and Ace, and like,
right.
It's just bonkers to see what that turned into. It's just 4 nerds getting together just to have fun, and now it's a real thing. It's crazy.
It is crazy.
It is
definitely crazy.
But like I said, it couldn't happen to a bunch of nicer guys, though.
Not at all. It's just when Phil got that call, he said his statement was like, "Yeah, I've never been more prepared for a gig in my life." It's like, yeah, we already just knew all those songs, and so when I got that call, and it was all thanks to Ryan hooking it up, and all Ryan's always been amazing at making the right friends, and hanging around the right spot. When you do that over and over, it stops being luck and it starts being a skill, and he's amazing at that sort of stuff. And he's just a great dude, great guy to be around there. We always have a blast when we're hanging. I got to go on the Kiss Cruise with them as a guitar tech for a Big Rock Show, which is like Jeremy and Ryan's cover band that they had for years.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And man, that's still the most fun I've ever had in my entire life. Was running around that boat with those goobers. Just like, we got on there and Ryan was like, I was like, is there seriously a Kiss song playing in the hallway just like 24/7 just randomly? And he was like, yeah, you're going to be sick of it by the end. And I was not. I was very disappointed when we got off the boat and there was not Shandy playing in the corridor outside the boat. Like, bring it on.
So you got in the car and hit the.
That's funny.
That's awesome.
They had that like Kiss channel on there. It was just like random Kiss footage all the time. Like, I want that channel.
Yeah.
Well, there is a Spotify playlist called "This Is Kiss." So,
all right.
Yeah, it's a pretty big list.
They don't play the same 4 songs over and over. I had a question for you, Alan. Then, do they play the same 16 songs every 16th song? 17th song it just starts over, or do they actually change the set list?
Well, Paul didn't create the playlist, so.
Exactly. Well, awesome. Anyway,
are you going to shows, or are you going to Kiss shows?
Yeah, I'm going to one here April 9th, and then I'm going to go down to Birmingham that weekend on the 13th, where my parents live. So got a place to crash, and
cool.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, Alan's got a birthday. Actually, Kiss is throwing a party for Alan for his birthday in Nashville. Can you believe that?
That's awesome.
Well, I hope I get an invite.
How much that cost you, Alan? Yeah.
I don't know how much the tickets were.
Yeah.
135 a piece, maybe. I don't remember.
It's at the Bridgestone. There's going to be a lot of people there. So.
Yeah, it can't be as much as the Vault experience.
Yeah, no shit.
Dennis?
That's funny. Oh, speaking of the Vault,
you were down, I saw you down there.
Oh yeah,
you were down there? Yeah. We ended up.
That was a fun day.
Yeah, it was just an odd day of seeing Vinny and Gene in the same room, much less on the stage.
So awesome.
It was very uncomfortable.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
It was bizarre. It was really bizarre.
Ask him if he cried. Ask him.
I did. I got emotional.
Yeah, it was a big day.
It wasn't a big day.
We just like
Gene talked to me. It was like really. It was like really.
I was in an elevator with Gene and Phil and Keith from Rhino Records, and it was like, again, one of those moments where I was just like, I was wearing a Megadeth shirt, and Gene kind of pointed at the logo, and he just started going like, "Hello, me," and I was like, "Oh man, you like that band?" And he was like, "Whenever I want to sing like Dave Mustaine, I just do my Popeye voice, and it's the same thing." And I was like, "Oh my god!" And he started like doing Popeye quotes and then singing Megadeth songs. It's like, oh my god, this is the most incredibly amazing thing I've ever experienced in my life.
God damn it! Now I never hear a Megadeth song the same way again.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's
that's funny.
Yeah, well, that's interesting because he's an interesting guy. Because when Alan and I met him this past summer at the show, we talked about avocados.
Yeah, no, I mean I've gotten to hang out with him about 3 times in the last year just through all this weird. Thank God Phil and Jared had that game.
That's how that worked out with us. Phil's the one that got us backstage, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So thanks to Phil, Gene Simmons offered me a cookie.
Nice. Yeah, no, he's just like a total
multiple times.
Yeah, he's got like an arsenal of one-liners that he recycles, and they're funny every time. And and if you get him talking about anything that happened musically in like the 50s, 60s, or 70s, he knows all of it, and he will talk to you about any band that put out any music, and he's just like a total nerd about it all. And it's super cool to see that side of him, because in the press he definitely has a character,
Oh, sure.
And but when the lights aren't on and he's just like goofing around, like he's really fun to be around.
It was fun. We sat there and he was kind of holding court. It was kind of interesting. We were.
Oh yeah, he loves holding court. He was Simmons.
Yeah, there was
if you forget, he will remind you.
I have no doubt about that. He was holding court, and then he left. He came back. He's talking to Alan and I and another couple of guys, and then Ryan came up and said, "Gene, we got to go." And he goes, "Yeah, just a minute." And he keeps talking to us for a little longer, and he's like, "No, we've got to go. We got to go like right now." And he goes, "Oh yeah, whatever." And he keeps talking. He goes, finally, Ryan grabs his arm. He goes, "Gene, we got to go like right now." And he leaves, and they go, "You need to go. The show's about to start." And he beat us on stage. They like really had to go.
Wow.
That's funny.
That's awesome.
I was like, awesome. That's pretty good. We couldn't have been much closer to stage time for that. I don't think that was cool.
That's awesome.
Awesome. All righty. Yeah. Well,
Thanks for spending some time with us, man. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. I always love talking about Kiss, and so.
Yeah. And hopefully we'll see you guys here soon, either at the show down there in Nashville, or we'll be down there and just to hang and go see something else, or
I'll try to do that. So I'm going to try to get down there in February.
I'm going to try. I'm going to California the week before, so if I come back from California and don't feel too out, jet lagged and shit, I might do that. But
you can go, because it's when you get back, it'll be like 10 o'clock here, and out there it'll be like way earlier. You'll be fine.
It's the next weekend, but like I said, we're gonna be gone for a week, so I don't know. We'll just have to see.
Well, I'll have to miss out on it, because that's the day I'm getting on a cruise ship for my 25th anniversary with my wife.
Well, that's awesome.
So you should tell her to wait.
Yeah, there you go. And then there won't be a 26.
You know that thing called the Nookie Ferry?
No.
But just think about it. That will be your last.
Well, see, I do know the Nookie Ferry.
Yeah. There you go. You lucky devil.
What is it? I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, there you go. See, this is how it ends.
As it should.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks, man. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
All right. On that note, folks, check us out on 80sofrock.com. Catch us on all of our social medias from there. Hit us up on Stitcher Radio. Check out our rebroadcast on 195theglobe.com. Till next week, peace out. Thanks for listening to the Ages of Rock podcast. If you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and most importantly, tell all your friends. Remember, you're never too old to rock. Until the next episode, peace out, folks.